You know that feeling, right? You type a few words into that little search bar, and it feels so simple, so neutral. Like you're just asking a question, and the whole of the internet is going to give you a straight answer. But what's actually happening behind that clean white screen, well, that's a completely different story. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on the company that more than any other decides what you see.
Just let that sink in for a second. You are not discovering reality, you are being shown a version of it. And that's the whole game. The company choosing that version, as you probably guessed, is Google.
So let's really break this down. On one hand, you have the feeling that you're just an impartial observer asking a question. But on the other hand, you have the reality, which is that you're being handed an answer that has been custom built and tailored just for you. And understanding that difference, well, that's key to everything we're about to talk about.
And a huge part of why we don't feel this happening is the design itself. I mean, think about it. That bright white page, the friendly logo, the one single search box just waiting for you. It all looks so innocent, so objective. But that's not an accident. That simplicity is an intentional design choice. And it's brilliant because it makes the unbelievable power working behind it totally invisible. It encourages us to just trust it.
So how did we get here? How did a search engine get so powerful? Well, to understand that, we've got to go back to the beginning. It all started with a pretty simple, almost innocent question that Google wanted to answer. Now, let's be fair. Google's original mission wasn't some grand plan to control what we see. It was actually a really good idea. The early internet was a total mess, a chaotic digital Wild West. Google's whole promise was to tame that chaos, to organize it and to show you not just any answer, but the best answer. But of course, that meant they first had to decide what best even meant.
And right there, that's the moment the story turns. That one single decision, how to define and rank what's best, didn't just change search, it fundamentally rewired the entire internet and how every single one of us finds information today.
Which brings us to our second section, what I'm calling the power of first. This is all about the core invention Google used to keep its promise, a little something called ranking.
See, Google didn't just give you a list of results, it put them in order. And in doing so, it created this incredibly powerful, unspoken hierarchy. We all learn the rules real fast, right? Page 1, that's reality. That's what's true. Page 2, obscurity. It might as well be in a dusty old library. And anything beyond that, you're basically in a black hole. It's just invisible.
Now, this is a really important distinction. Google wasn't deleting websites. They weren't censoring information. They were just prioritizing it. And that is so much more powerful because it doesn't feel like someone's making a decision for you. It just feels natural, like the cream rising to the top. And you can see how this power just grew over time. In the early days, Google was just a tool, something we used. But over time, our trust in those top results became a habit. And today, that habit has become something much, much bigger. Google isn't just a tool anymore. For millions of us, it's an authority we believe.
Okay, but the rabbit hole goes even deeper, because those results aren't just ranked, they are ranked specifically for you. Which brings us to section 3, your personalized reality.
I mean, just look at what's going into this. The algorithm is looking at everything. Yeah, sure, relevance and popularity, but also your physical location, the language you speak, every single search you have ever made, every link you've ever clicked, even the phone or computer you're using right now. It all goes into the mix.
So that leads to a pretty wild question, doesn't it? If you and your best friend stand side by side and search for the exact same thing at the exact same time, do you see the same internet? The answer, more and more often, is a clear no. And here's why. Searcher A is going to see results that the system predicts they'll like based on everything they've ever done online. Meanwhile, Searcher B gets a totally different list, tailored to their unique digital life. Now, this can be super helpful, right? But it also creates these invisible boundaries. It builds a little bubble around you, showing you more of what it already thinks you want to see. In this whole idea, this logic of ranking everything, it didn't stay inside the search box. It spilled out and completely reshaped our entire digital world. That's what Section 4 is all about, a world made to rank. Just think about the whole Google ecosystem. It's not just search, it's Google Maps deciding which route you see first. It's YouTube pushing the next video it thinks you'll watch. And Google News is a perfect example. It doesn't write the news, but it absolutely decides what's urgent, what's trending, and what you should pay attention to. It's defining relevance for millions of people every single day.
The knock-on effect of this was just massive. Suddenly, everybody, businesses, artists, journalists, even politicians, they all realized they had to play the game. Content started being made for the algorithm first, and for people second. And in that shift, truth itself became something that had to perform well, that had to rank high, just to survive.
And then came the smartphone. With a search engine in every single pocket, that tiny little space between having a question and getting an answer, it just collapsed to zero. That speed is amazing. It's convenient. But it also kills the space for doubt, for just thinking for a second. Instant answers started to replace quiet reflection.
So where does all of this leave us? Well, it leads us to our final section, the filter we trust. Because at this point, Google is way more than just a company. It's become a core part of how we think. There's this fascinating idea called cognitive extension. Just think about it for a second. These systems remember phone numbers for us. They tell us how to get places. They tell us where to look, what to read, what's important. In a very real way, we've kind of outsourced parts of our own memory and decision-making to them.
And that brings us right to the heart of it all. This is the main thing to remember. Google's real power isn't that it controls information itself. Its power is that it controls our exposure to that information. It is the master of our attention.
And why is that so powerful? Because our brains are funny. Hearing a really persuasive argument once might not change your mind. But being exposed to an idea over and over and over again, that's how beliefs are formed. The things we see repeatedly just start to feel true. So, at the end of the day, here's the quiet reality. We don't live in an age where information is hidden from us. Not really. We live in an age where information is ordered for us. And whoever has the power to set that order has the power to shape perception on a global scale. Google is, without a doubt, the most powerful filter humanity has ever built. In theory, you have access to everything. The entire library of human knowledge is right there at your fingertips. But what do you actually notice? What are you actually shown day in and day out? That's the invisible question that's shaping our world. Thank you so much for joining us for this explainer. See you in the next video.